I'm one of those poker players that always has to relearn poker every time they play. I'm like, wait, what's a pair? Pair is better than what?
Walton, you play the ghoul, and he certainly has found his way to deal with the wasteland and the obstacle he kind of faces. But there's also the side of Cooper Howard, in my opinion. And what I found so interesting is, how did it feel actually for you to portray someone that knows that the world around him is going to be destroyed by atomic bombs, and living with that knowledge and working that out? I thought there was such an interesting character sphere that you had to work on. So yeah.
I appreciate you saying that, articulating it in that way, because I understood what an opportunity this was. Knowing that might be a possibility, that might be kind of where we go, but and getting these scripts and having these conversations with these writers, and I just tried to luxuriate in the feeling of having everything that was familiar to you taken away from you, and what is reality, and what is reality for any one of us, and it was. I guess I can just say that I really had the time of my life. It was confusing. It was a weird place in between thoughts to exist for a while. But on the other side of it, I couldn't have. There's no better scenario in which I could have participated in this show in season 2.
Yeah. Justin, I mean, you're Robert House, and he's, of course, the sort of big unknown, and of course his connections to the certain characters in the show and in this whole Fallout universe. But what I want to know from you, is he sort of a classic antagonist for you, or would you say he's not, and why? Yeah.
I mean, I guess he's a classic antagonist. I mean, I don't, at least when I'm approaching any part, I don't think of them as, good, bad, antagonist, hero, any of those things. I sort of take them as they're presented to me in the script, and then figure out how to just sort of, bring that to life and serve the writing as much as possible. But I do like, I'm trying to think, how do I want to phrase this? I think he's one of those people that, I've sort of said this before, is forward leaning. He's just, he has a method, he has a thesis on the world and the way it should operate, and he leans into it. And he's got the resources and the power and frankly, the intelligence to do that. So I don't see him as sort of adversarial to anybody. I think he thinks he's doing good in the world, So in his own mind, I think thinks he's a hero of sorts, but he's like McNamara, during Vietnam. He thinks there's a sort of a numbers game to humanity that must be played at all times. And I sort of took him at face value that way.
Yeah. Talking about playing games, I mean, there's that phrase in the games actually that says the house always wins.
Yeah.
And of course, that refers to your character. But I want to know, in a card game between you two, who would probably win more?
between him and House, or between
you, Walton and Justin, who would probably
win?
Yeah.
Because I'm not big on card games. I'm one of those poker players that always has to relearn poker every time they play. I'm like, wait, what's a pair? Pair is better than what? So, and I know Walton has probably sat at some heavy tables and put some chips down.
You know what, though? The truth is I work very hard for my money. And I don't like to lose $5 at a table. You know what I mean? I would rather I'd rather make my money the old-fashioned way. And I want to spend it the old-fashioned way too.
I see that. Well, I would love to know, for maybe my final question. I mean, were you actually both familiar with the games, or are you gamers yourself? And how did you prepare for the parts? Yeah,
I'll go really quickly. I'm not a gamer. My son's a gamer. I was not familiar with the game, but became familiar with the game a little bit once I got the invitation to go on this ride, and decided not to play the game because I didn't want it to influence my perception of the story, and I wanted to make sure that these stories stood on their own and not be influenced by the game.
I am a gamer, but not particularly this game. I played a lot of other games. I was a big Call of Duty player, but I really and I watched a little of the game just on YouTube, just sort of some live or some taped play, just to sort of understand the tone and sort of, there's something about being in a video game that's just a real quiet place when you're wearing that headset and you're walking through worlds, and that's something that's really important. And as you meet different characters in different video games, so I wanted to sort of see how they introduced House in the game, just so I could at least sort of understand the flavor of that, and what he represented to obviously so many fans and people that enjoyed playing the game. That being said, once I got offered the part, I just decided to sort of shut all that out of my head and base it on the writing, the direction, and really just frankly the scenes that we had to play.
Yeah, thank you so much, both of
Thank
you,
you.
and good luck with the show. I'm really excited to see what's up next for you guys.
I can't wait
Thanks. I hope you dig it.
for you to see where it goes. Bye-bye.
Yeah.